Ranger, writer of the New York Times best-selling book, Outlaw Platoon, former Army Captain Shawn Parnell.
Hey, thanks so much for having me out here today. How y'all feeling out there? I came home from Afghanistan to a different country. The America that I left to defend had been optimistic, filled with resolve and purpose. Things changed. We've all seen that change. We've seen the foreclosure signs on every block in every town from Santa Cruz to Scranton. We've seen our friends, families, and neighbors dispossessed. How many in this audience have lost their jobs since change swept through our country? How many have seen their incomes erode while gas prices skyrocket and our grocery bills climb with every trip to the store? We are a country in pain, adrift and hurting, stumbling through the worst time we've ever faced since the Great Depression. We are a nation without executive leadership, vision, or pride. We've been beaten down. Veteran suicides are at an all-time high. Families are giving up hope as suburbs turn to bank-owned ghost towns, and our unemployment rate continues to hover near 9%. Our national morale is the worst it's ever been in my lifetime. And how can it not be what's going on around us and to us? How can it not be when our president offers apologies and humiliation abroad, and the First Lady tells the world that she's ashamed to be an American? This is the change I came home to. We've all seen it. We've all been affected by it in direct and negative ways. No wonder that few of us are looking beyond the circumference of our daily lives to see what changes under our nation's global position. Who can think of geopolitics when our homes, jobs, and families are threatened? But we need to see what change has done to our country abroad, because it's made us weak. And weakness in the world today will only ensure that the chaos raging overseas will reach our shores. Thanks to the White House, we are a weaker nation today than we were 4 years ago. And our enemies have capitalized on that. While we live through our daily lives, we face the biggest foreign policy threat since the Cold War. A nuclear-armed North Korea, Iran with a bomb. We have rivals who flex their economic might, whose economies are spurring unparalleled military buildups in every region, on every continent. Wars rage and people suffer. The UN has done nothing. Things get done when America steps forward and takes the lead. But we have a president who shirks that responsibility, who hems and haws and tests the political winds before acting, if he ever does. That kind of leadership is not respected abroad. And those in crying need, who turn to us in their most desperate hour, have lost hope that America will do the right thing. In the past 100 years, the benevolent strength of the United States of America has been a bulwark to freedom's fragile life. We've been a source of inspiration for lovers of liberty, from Tiananmen Square to the Yellow Revolution in the Philippines. We've ushered in so many new bursts of freedom across the globe since Lincoln spoke those magical words at Gettysburg. Yet the noble power we possess is in decline. Its light that once gave hope to millions is flickering out thanks to the Obama's sense of shame. In the Oval Office, there's no pride for all of our achievements, for the good that we brought to the world. There are only apologies and stolen credit and deliberate security risks that put the lives of our best and bravest at risk. If our preeminence in the world is surrendered by our leadership, who and what will fill that vacuum? What other country has the will and capacity to serve our fellow humans in every corner of the globe? In December of 2004, when history's most destructive tsunami swept through Southeast Asia and killed 250,000 people, who did a stricken appeal to for help? China? North Korea? Iran? Russia? They called for the United States Marines. That's who they called for. They called for the USS Lincoln and her consort of escorts. They called for Americans. And we saved lives. Yeah. In the fall of 2005, an earthquake in Pakistan killed 80,000 people. Almost 1 million more were cut off from food and fresh water. Their homes destroyed, winter's fast approaching. Who came to the rescue of those stricken and desperate people? The United States Army, flying straight from combat missions in Afghanistan, Reserve and National Guard helicopter crews from Kansas, Colorado, Washington, and Oregon reached the disaster in less than 48 hours. During that winter, those crews kept 600,000 people from starvation, and they rescued thousands more, bringing them to refugee centers and hospitals. In one devastated village, an American crewman was approached by a gaunt and elderly man who pressed a piece of paper into the American crewman's hand. In plain CD script, it read, "God bless America." That is our legacy to the world. That is real power. A benevolent force that has the ability to help where no others can. It is capability and can-do spirit. Without it, our ideals have no strength in a world we're suffering. Our great power is derived directly from our economic might. The current administration has seen the Great Recession not as an urgent crisis that needed to be attended to, but as an opportunity to exploit us all so that they could reshape Europe so that they could reshape America in Europe's image. This is the same Europe that President Obama himself blames for our own economic malaise. Why do we have a White House that wants to make us more like Spain with a quarter of its population out of work? Or France, whose new president seems to think that the way to prosperity is a 75% tax rate? Obama tried to tax and spend our way to prosperity, and how did that work out for all of us in the last 4 years? In the year after his $800 billion bailout, our gross domestic product dropped over 7%. Instead of unshackling business, instead of stoking that entrepreneurial fire that has made this country so great, the administration has waged war on entire sectors of our economy. Just ask the coal industry about that. Without a strong economy, we cannot have a strong military. The Obama administration is presiding over the largest reduction in force since the end of the Cold War. Hundreds of thousands of devoted patriots will receive their pink slips in the months to come.
John!
What commander-in-chief has ever done this in wartime? Who has ever deliberately made our nation weak when we are in the middle of a global conflict with a cunning and devoted foe? For our current president to do this is unsurprising. Since 2008, his White House has played politics with the war in Afghanistan. Instead of sound policies that can lead to stabilization, the president has taken a unique path. He declared that the war will be over in 2014. Can you imagine President Roosevelt doing that? Or President Lincoln? We faced defeat in Afghanistan. When I left in 2007, we were poised on the verge of victory. Our enemies don't respect us. Without our strength and the resolve to use it, there's no deterrence to rogue nations like Iran and North Korea. Our rivals see our weakness as an opportunity and are making plays that they would have never made 5 years ago, and our allies are losing heart. They turn to America for leadership, bold, decisive, benevolent leadership, and they find nothing. So that's why I'm here with you all today. I want to make it clear that this election is the most critical election of our time. We have a choice: the Obama sense of shame, or the Romney-Ryan ticket and pride. A vote for American exceptionalism. Let's make sure that we all do the right